Okay.
and we're set.
Okay, so,
And then you're going to go to something and then bring it back up to light the channels.
okay,
And
so
that happens.
do I start up here?
You just have to be right by the microphone. Do it there to your best ability. Thank you. Oh, let's see. Good morning. Was that exciting? Thank you, Bob Bosco. Welcome to worship with the community of First Unitarian Church of Omaha. My name is Beth Conover, and I'll be serving as your worship associate this morning. Whether you are attending online or in person, I'm glad you've chosen to join us for worship today. And I offer up a special welcome to visitors. If you're joining us online, we encourage you to say hello and chat with other online attendees. So let's take a quick moment to say hello and welcome the people around you.
I'm going to go talk to that man.
Of course. All right. And of course, to reseat yourself. This congregation is an inclusive community that listens, engages, inspires, and acts. Our mission is to foster the whole person with compassion and justice. We are on many journeys, but together we are one church. We are a community of all ages and abilities with a rainbow of gender and sexual identities and diverse cultural and class backgrounds. We draw from many sources of inspiration and share common liberal religious values. Whoever you may be, we welcome you to bring your whole self into this community. And once again, our service today features our church members, Kim Donovan, Jerre Tritsch, and Sarah Copeland. I want to remind everyone that we have a book at the back of the church where you can share your joys and concerns that will be lifted up in worship today. For those online, feel free to use online comments to share your joys and concerns. As always, we'll share coffee and conversation together in the common room downstairs after the service. We also affirm that our church occupies the traditional treaty lands of the Omaha and Otoe, Missouri tribal nations and express our respect to the Northern Ponca, Winnebago, and Santee Sioux tribes. Please join us in giving voice to and supporting local causes, charities, and rights of Indigenous people. And now, our prelude. Thank you, Judy. Bob Bosco, who did a great job of starting the service, is going to come and light the chalice now for us. And together, spark of the Spirit, cupped in earth's embrace, light of love, alive in all creation, as we kindle this flame, we rekindle our connection to the sacred web of life. Our call to worship is a responsive reading by former First Unitarian minister Robert Weston. It's number 650 in the gray hymnal, Cherish Your Doubts. I will read the first part, you'll read the second part. I bet we can do it. Cherish your doubts, for doubt is the attendant of truth. A belief which may not be questioned binds us to error, for there is incompleteness and imperfection in every belief. Let no one fear for truth, that doubt may consume it, for doubt is a testing of belief. For truth, if it be truth, arises from each testing stronger and more secure. But those who fear not doubt and know its use are founded on rock. Therefore, let us not fear doubt, but let us rejoice in its help. It is wise as a staff to the blind. Doubt is the attendant of truth. Our opening hymn is number 128, For All That Is Our Life. All right, so we now have, let's see, several things for our social action moment. Get all my little things here. First, we'll have Jean Wagner come up and speak to us about the KIOS Fund Drive.
Good morning. It's time again to pool our resources and dollars to buy ads on KIOS, Omaha Public Radio, Primetime, NPR. First UU connects with our community with these ads. When you donate, please put your check made out to First UU with KIOS in the memo in the collection plate, or you can mail it to the church, or you can hand it directly to me. Thank you.
And thank you, Jean, for coordinating that fund drive. We appreciate it. I have a second announcement from the UU board. One of the ways we build community and develop caring relationships in our church community is our Sunday morning coffee and conversation following the service each week. We are looking for folks who are willing to help make coffee and set up mugs, tea, and ice water. Cleanup is simple with our dish machine. We have friendly folks to train you and help you get started. The board hosts coffee hour the first Sunday. Sherry Connor and Jody Rowan faithfully host third Sundays, so we're looking for folks to help out second and fourth Sundays. If you have questions, please reach out to Frank Wagner or Diane Bird. We will be downstairs after the service, and you can also sign up directly using the QR code for Sunday Helpers, which appears on the Sunday slides and in the e-news. And then from our Social Justice Committee, let's see, for those of you who have not had the opportunity to sign the UUSJ Covenant for the Future, signing sheets and copies of the covenant will be available during coffee hour. The covenant calls for repeal of H.R. 1, the so-called Big Beautiful Bill. Okay, so time for our community offering, which this month is OTAC. So each week, half of the loose currency from the offering plate is donated to a local cause so more people can do more good. Our share of the plate recipient for August is Omaha Together One Community, or OTAC. OTAC teaches people to become effective leaders, explore their legitimate interests, do solid research, engage in sometimes tough but always respectful public discourse, hold elected officials accountable, and create positive change through collective action. OTAC seeks to connect people across lines that tend to divide them: race and ethnicity, economics, religion, geography, and language. More information at www.otac.org. Our offertory music is Both Sides Now by Joni Mitchell.
Rows and flows of angel hair and ice cream castles in the air and feathered canyons everywhere. Looked at clouds that way away. But now it's just another show. You leave 'em laughing when you go. And if you care, don't let 'em know. Don't give yourself away. I've looked at love from both sides now, from give and take. Still somehow it's love's illusions I recall. I really don't know love at all. Tears and fears and feeling proud to say I love you right out loud. Dreams and schemes and circus crowds. I've looked at life that way. Now old friends are acting strange. They shake their heads. They say I've changed. Well, something's lost, but something's gained. Living every day. I've looked at life from both sides now, from win and lose. Still somehow it's life's illusions I recall. I really don't know life at all. I've looked at life from both sides now, from up and down. Still somehow it's life's illusions I recall. I really don't know life at all.
May I say that we're always looking for more worship associates, and when you're the worship associate, you get to choose the music. So we have spectacular, I'd like to thank Judy and Miguel, we have spectacular music for today. Okay, we're going to do a little bit of an abbreviated cares and centering. I wanted to make enough time for our speakers, but we are entering the time of joys and concerns. If you have not entered one we'll give you a couple minutes, put it in the book in the back. If you're online, you can enter it online in terms of doing it. And if you would like to, you can come forward and place a stone in the collective chalice in the front, join silently with others in our community. Judy, just a little. Oh, Colin's going to come forward in a second. Does anybody have anything to enter in the back or want to come forward? You can stand up here with me, hon. Well, I probably did it out of order, Colin. Just go with it. Let her do that and see if nobody else wants to. I'll let you read this. You know, volunteers, you can't do.
There's not much right now, so very quick.
Don't worry. I can always cut it in. Okay. All right, Colin. Sorry, I put Colin in the wrong order.
From Sharon Conlon, saying her sister's lifelong friend, Mary Liz Neary, has passed away, and that her nephew's mother, Kathy Laramie, also has died. And from Linda Parker, saying Linda Parker thanks everyone who reached out to her during her recent knee surgery. So many wonderful people provided support in so many ways, rides, cards, phone calls, and more. Being supported by a caring people of First Unitarian was truly a precious gift of joy.
Thank you, Colin. And, oops, I'm sorry, what? Yes, of course.
I have a joy. All the parents get to enjoy their children going back to school this week. Now they're mine.
I'd now like to invite Mary Kay Peters forward to read the story of the Taoist farmer, as told by Alan Ross. Mary Kay.
Good morning. Can I have a quick little thing before I get started? Tonight in the common room from 6 to 8, I'm going to be working with a group, the Wolf Packs, and they do Packs for Friends, where they pack up a few things to give people who are being sent to the ICE detention facility. So there's a short little potluck orientation from 6 to 7, and then from 7 to 8, they're going to be packing packs. So everyone's invited if they want to participate. And now the story of the Taoist farmer. There was once a farmer in ancient China who owned a horse. "You are so lucky," his neighbors told him, "to have a horse to pull the cart for you." "Maybe," the farmer replied. One day, he didn't latch the gate properly, and the horse ran off. "Oh no, this is terrible news," his neighbors cried. "Such terrible misfortune." "Maybe," the farmer replied. A few days later, the horse returned, bringing with it 6 wild horses. "How fantastic, you are so lucky," his neighbors told him. "Now you are rich." "Maybe," the farmer replied. The following week, the farmer's son was breaking in one of the wild horses when it kicked out and broke his leg. "Oh no," the neighbors cried. "Such bad luck, all over again." "Maybe," the farmer replied. And then the next day, soldiers came and took away all the young men to fight in the war. The farmer's son was left behind. "You are so lucky," his neighbors cried. "Maybe," the farmer replied.
All right. Today we present 3 of our own First Unitarian members. We're going to do 2 little sermonettes, a hymn if we have time, and the third, we'll see. We have some squish room because I'm committed to trying to finish about the right time. We'll see. Hardest part of the job. So please join me in welcoming to the pulpit. I've known Kim and Jerry for a very long time. They have kids around our age, and we taught Sunday school together. Kim is going to come up first, followed by Jerry in speaking.
Good morning, friends. It's good to be here. So last weekend, my husband and I were driving on the interstate in Omaha, and I saw this big billboard sign that said, "War, divorce, and wealth. What does Jesus say?" And then a phone number to call, 83, and the digits that spelled out FORTRUTH. I was like, wow, wouldn't that be nice to just simply have an 800 number to call these days to find out what the truth is? When I became a member here over 30 years ago, I especially appreciated that Unitarian Universalism didn't ask me to believe anything based on blind faith. Didn't ask me to believe anything that wasn't evidence-based, and maybe more importantly, wasn't grounded in my own sense of the world. When it was formed in 1961, the Unitarian Universalist Association dedicated itself to 6 principles. And the first one was, quote, to strengthen one another in a free and disciplined search for truth as the foundation for our religious fellowship. In the beginning, the search for truth was recognized as the very foundation of our denomination. So, what does the search for truth look like now in a world with exponentially more complex challenges, with artificial intelligence, humans sorting ourselves into increasingly polarized communities and siloed media platforms? In a world experiencing a high degree of agitation and anxiety, when so much of what you care about, human dignity, justice, care for the planet, are all being crushed by big external conditions. I'm guessing I may not be the only one struggling to perceive as clearly as I can what's happening in the world, see as clearly as I can with as much balance and clarity as I can. So that's, for me, sort of what this topic is about. For me, to search necessarily means softening around our own beliefs and opinions. It means opening our mind to other possibilities, because if we already have the answers, there's no reason to go searching, right? But in my own experience, this softening and opening around views and perceptions can feel really uncomfortable. To let the mind venture into the territory of not knowing takes a considerable tolerance for discomfort, because there is this deep human impulse, I think, in all of us to want to understand and make sense of our world. In fact, science shows that our brain responds to uncertainty, to this sense of not knowing, the same way it responds to a physical threat. By releasing stress hormones in the body and engaging the prefrontal cortex to go looking for answers, like, I don't want to stay here in this place, so help me here. The mind gets really disturbed and agitated. In his book, The Psychology of Totalitarianism, the psychologist Matthias Desmet posits that this fear of uncertainty is causing all of us, progressives and conservatives alike, to cling more tightly to ideologies that can give us an illusion of certainty, a sense of standing on some solid ground. And as a consequence, we're much less inclined to listen to other points of view, because that might risk undermining this solid ground, this sense of certainty. Why would I want to do that? And we aren't just clinging to beliefs, we're making them a part of our own identity, which causes us to not just disagree with someone, but to begin to have some real ill will feelings toward them, because now it's personal. The search for truth is further complicated by the sheer complexity of the challenges that we face today. In his book, 21 Lessons for the 21st Century, author Yuval Noah Harari argues that we compensate for this complexity. Our mind in an effort to reduce the complexity, actually distorts our reality.
reducing large-scale moral dilemmas down to a size that we can more easily wrap our minds around. For example, our minds are drawn to simple, clear, linear plots for historically complex conflicts like the Middle East. And rather than confronting the true nature of reality, the true complexity in all of its shades of gray, like Matthias Desmet, Harari maintains we're seeking refuge in our own religious and ideological dogmas. Now, in my experience over 30-some years, UUs aren't so likely to seek refuge in religious dogma, but I don't think it's so far-fetched to imagine the UUA rolling out a handy 800 number to call for the latest update to the ideological propaganda that routinely gets served up nationally and on Sunday mornings, and is beginning to act as a litmus test for what it means to be a UU today. When we all face a lot of pressure, both internally and externally, to react to what's happening in the world, a principled search for truth means, in my view, resisting the strong impulse to engage in tribal posturing, a signaling to others of our loyalty to a certain set of beliefs that mostly serves to agitate and divide people. During the service 2 weeks ago, as I listened to Reverend Jerre telling the children a story about what she called the layers of oppression in the soil of this country, beginning with the Europeans who came and took control over the land and the people who lived on it. And I reflected on the practice of reciting a land acknowledgement at the beginning of each Sunday service. I wondered, when the UUA sold their 4 buildings in Boston's historic Beacon Hill, did the UUA take into account the land's history when deciding how to use the more than $30 million in sale proceeds? Did the UUA see how this could be an opportunity to live its own truth about the layers of oppression in the soil? Maybe consideration was given to the Native Americans for whom this land was taken. Reports, however, were that after financing the move to a new headquarters, the remainder was deposited in the UUA endowment fund. And I don't know what should have happened at the time, but I'm just curious whether there was any thought given to it. Like the Taoist farmer, I'm trying to hold my views a little more lightly, making it easier for the mind to explore multiple points of view. When I'm caught in a strong reaction to events in the world, I'm doing my best to pause, taking time to see more clearly my own perceptions in the stories I'm telling myself, looking for grains of truth in alternative interpretations. And then, sometimes, I find myself widening my lens and adopting a more balanced view of what's happening in the world. And I want to acknowledge that all of this is really hard and especially needed on days when it feels like everything is falling apart. So this is a topic that's very core to my own identity as a UU, and I really appreciate Jerre and Sarah's willingness to share with us what the search for truth looks like for them.
Good morning. All right, let's see if I can work this thing. The Supreme Court of the United States, right there, is made up of justices strongly identified with either liberal or conservative politics. The justices, of course, would argue otherwise. Their decisions, though, have an extraordinary impact on the most divisive political issues of the day. And by reports, perhaps surprisingly, as individuals, they get along. And heavens, they even enjoy each other's company. Now, how can that be? Our truths are based on our perceptions of the world around us. Our world changes over time, and our perceptions of the world change over time. We take in new information, or we see the same information from a different viewpoint. And of course, our perception of the world around us can be based on a limited view. If you, like me, are among the 40% of Americans who have a college degree, you are more likely to see issues in a particular way. As blogger economist Noah Smith writes, universities are now factories that create the Democratic voter base, not because professors indoctrinate their students with Marxism or critical race theory, but because universities bring together people who are already progressive and isolate them from conservatives. Ouch. Let's see if Principal Skinner has any wisdom to add for us here. Am I out of touch? Am I out of touch? No, it's the people without postgraduate degrees who are wrong. I love The Simpsons. I can remember years ago when we were raising children, we were concerned that watching The Simpsons would be a big moral problem for our children. That sounds so quaint now. So now it is human nature to cling to our beliefs, truths, if you will. We don't need studies to tell us that we all tend to consume only media that agrees with our points of view, with our truths. We watch either MS Now or Fox News. We read either the New York Times or the National Review. We read either Michelle Goldberg's column or Bret Stephens' column. We want to spend time with people who agree with us. We do this because it makes us feel secure. But I would like to suggest to you that we shouldn't ever get too comfortable that we know the truth. To paraphrase Nietzsche, it's certainty, not truth, that drives one insane. Is there anyone more pretentious than Nietzsche to quote? I don't think so. So, my advice, I think the advice of Nietzsche is, don't drive yourself insane. Incorporate a little doubt in your life. Try testing your truths from time to time. Read thoughtful stuff that you don't think you can agree with. Talk to people who you don't think you can agree with. I don't recommend either MS Now or Fox News, but there are plenty of thoughtful people out there from both sides of the debate worth listening to or reading. And when it comes to the problem of silos and echo chambers, well, we could all use a little skepticism when we are being pitched by anyone, including me. That is, pitched by me. Ready for another quote? I'm getting medieval on you. Peter Abelard is a medieval French philosopher, By doubting, we are led to inquiry. By inquiry, we perceive the truth. So, back to the Supreme Court justices. Why do they get along so well? Well, at work, they meet together in conference regularly to try and find common ground and limit disagreements. And occasionally, it even changes the vote. And socially, they voluntarily, and as far as I can tell, enthusiastically, spend time with each other. They regularly have lunch together, just the justices, and the unwritten rule during lunch is no shop talk. Ruth Bader Ginsburg and Antonin Scalia were at opposite ends of the political spectrum, but were good friends. And they shared a love of opera and traveled together, and their families spent New Year's Eve together. The notorious RBG affectionately called her colleague Nino and they had great respect for each other. So far as I know, there is no name-calling among the justices. No one is accused of being a tool of the patriarchy or being a fascist or a racist or a squish or a libtard. I'm reminded of this quote from Mark Nepo, one of my favorites. To listen is to lean in softly with a willingness to be changed by what we hear. In a continuing, disciplined search for truth, that seems like a good place to start. Thank you.
We are going to just sing the first verse of Just as Long as I Have Breath, because I want to make sure I leave enough time for Sarah. Sarah, the woman brave enough to take on the Heart and Hand auction in the path for which she is famous, is up our third speaker.
Good morning. You can see the change already. I might talk about truth in a little bit of a different way than our first two speakers. I'm bringing my notes on my phone. And I'll start you off with two truths. The first truth is it's easier for the human brain to stay engaged when you pair auditory input with visual input. Jerry did a great job of that. The second truth is I don't have any slides for you this morning because I didn't have time. So, searching for truth is a pretty tall order, and it can be difficult to figure out how to even begin. I like to have a good definition of what a word means so it can guide me on what I'm supposed to be doing. So I try to look up definitions for what truth is, and I think that would be a good starting point. But there's one problem, because it turns out that truth is subjective. And we can rely on facts, but even those are just agreed upon interpretations of observations. And to keep with pretentiousness, Jerry, I also have a quote from Nietzsche, which is that there is never a fact, it's just an agreed upon observation. Even in scientific efforts, we never truly have proof of anything, we just strengthen hypotheses when we figure out we can't disprove them yet. So maybe we have to begin somewhere else, and maybe that can be our collective agreed upon interpretation of how humans are designed. And I want to focus on the fact that we are all relational beings. So in order to relate to each other, we form identities, and this happens unconsciously at very young ages. We form those identities by repeatedly performing behaviors that we observe, and those behaviors are aligned with social norms of our surroundings. Judith Butler calls this performativity, and there's much more to it, but sticking with a simplified version of this concept, we could then say that because we as humans want to belong and be seen and be understood, we perform in certain ways, from our behaviors to how we dress, how we style our hair, what words we use to relate to one another. And that also shapes how we search for and how we find our truths. We're supposed to learn from one another in our search for truth and meaning, and especially in our digital age, we can find ourselves scrolling through social media feeds, at least I do that a lot, and find something we relate to, and then that feels true to us. We tend to interact with the content that we agree with, and then that informs the underlying algorithm to show us more of what we just engaged with. And the more we consume similar content, the more those truths carry meaning to us. They become part of our identity. Over the years, some may become deeply connected to communities that believe the same truths. And yes, there's potential for good in this, as much as there is potential for danger. We compare ourselves to others. We question why finding truth is easier for them or why they seem to have their lives more together than us. We may tell ourselves that if they are so certain of something, then it just has to be true. But we must remember that content we consume on social media, on the news, in print, is a monetized good. And I'm not getting into the implications of the underlying capitalist system, but it is getting increasingly more difficult to stick to the facts or the agreed upon interpretations of all things in life. One question that comes up in examining mass media, and I took this from people who used to be copywriters and are no longer that, is to ask the question, who benefits from me believing this? I believe that responsibly searching for truth and meaning requires a very deep understanding of who you are as an individual. To be able to ask, if this is true, what does that mean for me? And unfortunately, those questions aren't going to be answered by a 30-second video. While Beth and Kim and Jerry and I were preparing for this service, we talked about the prevalence of artificial intelligence and how even a simple Google search these days presents you with an AI summary of your search results at the top now. We know that AI is programmed by humans and then trained by loading as much data into the systems as possible. And all ethical and environmental concerns aside, it can be a convenient tool. I decided to ask one AI tool to give a comment on finding truth and meaning in today's climate. Here's what it said. AI systems, including me, can synthesize information incredibly well. We can explain, summarize, persuade, and imitate expertise. But we also inherit the biases, blind spots, incentives, and errors embedded in the human material we are trained on. We can sound authoritative even when we are wrong. Human institutions can do the same. That means the danger is not only misinformation, it is overconfidence. The feeling that because something is presented to you polished and fast and emotionally satisfying, or repeated by people we have things in common with, it must be true. So when we're asked to responsibly search for truth and meaning, to me that doesn't mean to be skeptical of everything we encounter, but for me the goal is to meet those moments with curiosity. And even that isn't always going to happen. We still get to be the complex, imperfect human beings that we are, and we're not going to be able to stop our brains from spinning stories every time, especially when we don't have all the information, and you can believe me, my brain is an expert at doing that. So in practice, the best way to seek truth and meaning may involve a combination of humility, asking yourself, what might I be missing? Moral grounding, asking, what kind of world does disbelief encourage me to build? Diverse community, that means listening beyond the people and algorithms that are most similar to yourself. Patience, resisting the pressure to react instantly to every headline, every outrage cycle, every viral certainty. And self-awareness. How much can you tolerate right in that moment? It can be true that you're in a season where you can only focus on what's right in front of you, and the bigger truths are going to have to wait. Although, I suppose it's debatable whether there are any truths that are more important than others. So to sum it up, facts tell us what is happening, and meaning helps us decide how to live. Two people could agree on every fact presented to them and still disagree about what about those facts matters. That's why values, relationships, and community remain essential, even or especially in an age of advanced technology. I'm going to leave you today not with an answer on how to find truth. I'm leaving with 2 questions and 2 quotes. Who benefits from you believing this? If this is true, what are you going to do with it? And the quotes are one from Daniel Webster. There is nothing so powerful as truth, and often nothing so strange. And the second one comes from the masterpiece movie Enola Holmes 3 that I watched last night with my children. And it is, look for what's there, not for what you want to be there. Thank you.
Thank you. Again, in my dedication to the Ruskos and McNamara Wagners, we're going to try to finish on time. So we are going to sing verse 1 and 4 of hymn 145, As Tranquil Streams. Stand as you can and want to. Thank you, Daniel.
As tranquil streams that lead and as one to seek the sleep, are kindred hearts and bonds to build a church that shall be free. Oh, that pictures of future waits for
Our closing words today are by Wendell Berry, The Real Work. It may be that when we no longer know what to do, we have come to our real work, and that when we no longer know which way to go, we have come to our real journey. The mind that is not baffled is not employed. The impeded stream is the one that sings. And wait 1 second, because I want to thank once more our musicians for today, Judy and Miguel. Aren't we lucky? And they're about to close it with a bang. And I want to thank our speakers once more. They'll meet you out at the door. It's not easy to do. Kim and Jerry and Sarah, thank you for sharing your insights. All right, let it be.
And if you'd like to sing on the chorus, please join in.
Yes.
myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. And in my hour of darkness, she is standing right in front of me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Oh, let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be. And when the broken-hearted people living in the world agree, there will be an answer, let it be. For though they may be parted, there is still a chance that they will see. There will be an answer, let it be. Oh, let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. There will be an answer, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, oh, let it be. Whisper